feel like I start a lot of my videos like this, but if you were on TikTok in the early days of 2024, you'd probably remember a video that looked a little bit like this. The video that you just watched sparked a lot of discussion online, mainly due to the abnormally large police presence. But as people looked closer, they saw something else. Something far more extraterrestrial.
So now people are posting online saying that police weren't there to handle a group of rowdy teens, but rather 8 to 10 feet tall, shadowy aliens.
To this day, no one really gave a definitive answer as to what actually went down that day in Miami. So today, lady and man, we are finally getting down to the bottom of the Miami Mall alien sighting and the weird link to an incident that took place in Las Vegas months earlier. And buckle up, because the answer might not be exactly what you would expect. Just after midnight on January 1st, 2024, something sort of weird happened in Miami, Florida. And I know weird things happen every day in Florida, but this one was different. Chaos erupted at the Bayside Marketplace. Within an hour, the phrase Miami Mall alien was trending worldwide. People on social media claimed that a creature had landed from the sky. Some described it as over 10 feet tall. It didn't take long for police scanners to be lit up with chatter about a disturbance at the mall. The official report was claimed to be nothing more than a massive brawl involving over 50 juveniles. Actually, no, it was juveniles setting off fireworks. Wait, no, maybe it was a shooting. There seemed to be a lot of different stories about what actually went down that day, and even the official police report seems to have been a little bit lost in translation. But out of all of them, there was never any mention of anything otherworldly. But there were also never any mentions of injuries or even really arrests. Officers said that it was under control, but that didn't really match what people had seen. Why were there so many police cars? Why the helicopters? Why did eyewitnesses claim to see something more than a fight? Why did they close off the airspace? Why aren't you subscribed yet? So many questions and genuinely no answers. And this is where things start to get a wee bit strange. Yeah, I just got a spinning chair. Have you guys noticed? It didn't take long for videos to go viral. One video shows what looks like a massive silhouette ducking behind the bushes outside the mall. The footage is blurry and distant, and it could easily be a trick of the light. Zoomed in versions circulated quickly, and amateur analysts tried to stabilize the video, looking for signs of movements. And this is where theories started to flood in. Some people believed that the flash of light before the incident was a spacecraft landing or crashing, that it wasn't fireworks, but an entry event. They pointed out that no firework can produce a light that strong and make absolutely no noise. Skeptics, of course, pointed out that the bright blue flash could have been a transformer explosion. They claimed that the entire incident was blown way out of proportion by teenagers hyped up on social media. Others said that it was all just an elaborate prank, possibly by some local native Florida influencers. My theory is that it was Rockstar Games hyping up GTA 6, instead of giving us an actual trailer too. Where is the second trailer for GTA 6? But none of those explain the number of officers who responded. To put it in comparison, this is the police response from a brawl in Enfield.
Fight. When she came outside, there was a line of about 8 teenagers lined up. Police were speaking with them.
And this was the police response to the Miami incident.
More than 50 young people armed with sticks began fighting.
That's a lot of police. I don't think I've ever actually seen that many police respond to any event. At one point, more than 30 police vehicles were on scene, along with several unmarked black SUVs. And then, according to police dispatch logs released later, there was a brief communication blackout in the area. Apparently there was roughly 45 seconds where all the radio contact went silent. Bit odd. But we'll just give them the benefit of the doubt and chalk it up to a technical error. Of course, Reddit threads dedicated to the incident began compiling timelines, and we all know by now that Redditors are pretty much professionals when it comes to these sorts of things. They collected witness testimonies and even ended up mapping out the layout of the mall to try and locate blind spots. If only they put that much effort into showering. Reddit didn't actually end up finding too much, but they did manage to compare it to an event that happened months earlier in Las Vegas. And there are some pretty odd similarities between the two. Bear with me for a second. This is relevant to the story. On the night of April 30th, 2023, a bright greenish blue streak shot across the skies of Nevada. But this time, dozens of people reported it. Dash cams captured it, and even pilots flying over the desert radioed in what they saw. Minutes later, at a quiet home in suburban Las Vegas, a frantic 911 call was placed.
It has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. 9 feet, 10 foot. They look like aliens to us.
The caller was a young man, and he said there were two large creatures, at least 8 to 10 feet tall, standing in his backyard after the flash.
They have big eyes, and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
It seems pretty damn familiar, right? This time, we actually ended up getting close-up footage, but like usual, it was pretty low-quality footage. It's always low-quality footage.
That this entity, this thing in the video is there in the physical reality in which the Kenmore family is also there.
The thing is with this footage here is it's been confirmed to be original. There's been absolutely no post-processing done to this footage, which essentially means everything that shows up in the video was there in physical form that night. But the thing with the Las Vegas incident and the Miami incident is the undeniable similarity between the two. The bright blue light, followed by the 8 to 10 foot being with glowing eyes. Even skeptics believe in the Vegas incident. Unfortunately, with the Miami incident, we don't actually have much evidence at all, which makes things pretty difficult. Now, look, I love aliens, and I fully believe in the existence and the idea that we've been visited before. In fact, I fully believe that the Vegas incident was real, but, and this is a big but, I find it sort of hard to believe in the Miami incident. If we had just a little bit more evidence, I would find the story a lot more compelling. I think UAP expert Jeremy Corbell probably explained it the best here.
But what you're seeing is in popular culture, people are so interested in this. It shows such this just veracity, this kind of hunger for this information about this, because people know they've been lied to about UFOs because people are seeing them. But no, that event, within 2 minutes, you could go on and understand that that was an orchestrated deception, campaign by ourselves, just by, people reposting stuff. That is unfortunately not the smoking gun evidence that you had asked me for earlier.
I do agree that the police presence was weird, and the fact that they closed off the airspace around the mall was also pretty weird. But if the story about a large group of teenagers shooting fireworks is actually the case, both the police presence and the airspace closure does make a fair bit of sense. I'm not totally dismissing the possibility of something more, I just don't see it as very likely. Like, comment.